What's up, y'all? Man, we got some people in here early today. And I started kind of early. Don't pick you up. Braveheart Carlos, Acan Addict, thank you so much. Cross, Northwest FPWL, Mother B. Mario Hamada, Texan, Scotty, Father, and Finn. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm gonna scooch this over here. What up, Jeremy? Oh, tell me about your Ali E bar, Jeremy. Did you plug that thing in yet? What's up, pirate? Moki, hello, sir. It's a little echoey in here, isn't it? I'm gonna get right to it because I got a lot of content to cover. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of equipment over here. If you saw my picture I posted over on Instagram, you can kind of see the desk and everything going on. What up, Savage? What time is it there? 1 a.m.? Oh, it's something. It's 12:30, 1:30, something like that. Always happy to help. Always happy to help. What up, Thomas? BC, how are you? All right, let me get to this. First, I'm going to get through some of this business here. I've been playing with my shipping. I normally post, share here pictures, and I think maybe it's just easier to get through the week in Instagram, all the stuff that maybe you saw or did not see. Is that Bert? Do I see Bert over there? Oh, it is. Hello, sir. You were posting some videos tonight. You had a busy night. All right, shipping. Oh, that was really loud. Is that loud for you? Shipping, we are getting closer. Actually, that box right now with that data logger is sitting in my kids' room because it's a little chilly in there. And to simulate like the truck and the movement and in buildings and outside of controlled temperature storage. So it's over there right now with a V3 of packing materials. Right now it's a bunch of peanuts and a bag of water, the probe inside the bag of water, and that bag of water is inside of another bag. Trying to figure out the sweet spot for shipping corals. What I'm looking to do is keep that temperature above 72 degrees. So I want to start at 77 and I want to go down to 72 in a 24-hour period. We'll see. I'm working on it. We'll see. Because I really like to send some stuff out. This is a whole lot of coral, but what's most important is right here, this little hole. I dropped a dizzy down in here and it's gone forever. Lame. Cherry bomb, but really, this lynx eye Monty, I dig that edge. That's a real pretty purple edge on that Monty. Oh, we got a little bit of this action right here because that is the GHL mini power bar versus not the official Hydros power bar, but certainly one that works with it. See my temperature probe. I had it. It dropped and then it held and it gave up the ghost. And it was like down to 69 degrees. And I understand. Somebody shared that Worldwide Coral says that's cool. I'm trying to do better than that. I'm trying to keep it above 72. That'll make me feel a little bit better. Oh, my favorite. You know it. The Inkbird. I think this is the safety device of all safety devices if we're talking heaters. That is the DIY cover for the work tank made out of screen material and or screen rim and transparent material matting from IKEA. That's still working. No issues there. And if you just saw one of my most recent posts on Instagram, that thing is blinking. That light just blinks. I can't see it because my refresh is a little bit slower than that light's blink. But man, you put a phone up to that thing and it's just blink, 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 blink because the refresh is so slow. Oh, we wrapped up. We were posting a little Veterans Day week of business here with Ani with his muscles, and then me in the background looking like an idiot in my blues while everybody else was in BDUs. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. That was a long time ago. That was 2000 and I don't know, 5. A little more temperature data. Yeah, it's not working. And this thing, well, there's the level sensor, and here's the doodad that we're going to pretend is still in the box. We're going to talk about that thing a little bit. The doser, we're going to talk about this, and it's just as crappy as the other one. And oh, big news, Ion Director's getting super close, and I'm kind of excited for this device because it tests all the stuff that I never test, and I should. So, yeah, kind of cool. Calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and nitrate. I test none of those regularly. Not at all. But I should. I'd really like to know what my nitrate is on a day-to-day basis. I think that would be super important. Calcium, last time I tested calcium was May. And I should probably test that more often too. So this, I don't know, this thing could probably help me. A little bit of back of the frag tank, mostly showing the Mitris LX7 and its fanciness. My kid's doing an engineering project, and he did a deep blue lagoon underwater mini golf course, and he wanted to have coral, so he did that out of glow-in-the-dark pipe cleaners, not glow-in-the-dark, but fluorescing pipe cleaners, and it's a cool little coral display, a little stag display. Oh, yeah. So I got a bunch of notifications. This thing, iPhone 12 Pro Max, the big one. It has that cool wide angle lens that I've been playing with, and I kind of dig this phone. This is my first phone upgrade since in 4 years. This replaced an iPhone 7 Plus, so I was pretty psyched. I always buy the phone for the camera, and then this is the biggest camera innovation in iPhone since the 7 Plus. This little guy again. Yeah, no graphs. So, and we'll get to this, but the Control2 doesn't offer any graphs, no data. It just offers real time, much the same way that you see with the GHL mini Wi-Fi. Only it has, the GHL has a pH probe, just saying. For that project, we were cutting out a little hot shark action right here, a little 3D shark. This is made out of flight test maker foam. And I took a design from Make CNC, scaled it to the foam thickness, and then made this for the boy. Pretty sweet, right? This looks good on his project. I wonder if I can make this fly. I bet I could. I bet I could put big wings on this thing and a motor and make it go. Just saying. Woo! And that's it. That's it for show and tell. Let me tell you what to do this right here. Let me catch him on chat. Oh, chat went away. There it is. All right. Scanning. Is he shaking the box every 5 minutes too? Is he shaking the box every 5 minutes too? Savage working out the formula for what? Shipping? Working on it. Inkbird agreed. Carlos. GHL has not done me wrong. This is the only controller brand, because really the Apex Junior, pretty solid device, hasn't crapped out on me once. But if we're talking brands, GHL is the only brand that hasn't pissed me off yet. I like it. Ion Director looks boss. I'm pretty excited about that thing. Twice in 2 years. Yeah, Bert, but you're too busy working out and taking man selfies. You ain't got time to test no calcium? You should have somebody do that for you. That's what I'm thinking. I pre-ordered the Ion Director in the middle of the year. I've been using the KH Director for so long, and I'm more than happy. I see a lot of happy GHL KH Director users. And we talked about this last week. The thing I dig most about that device is the dosing pumps are totally maintainable because they're right in front of you. You can totally get to all of those pump heads and perform maintenance on them, where you can't do that with that Trident. Pirate Monkey, look them up, because it kind of depends on if you have a P4 or if you're going to use devices independently with dosers that can operate without a controller. All right, there you go. Now you know, Mother. Now you know. No one's half to battle. Tyler, how are you, sir? All right. I'm going to get to what's inside first. So since we were talking about GHL, I took apart... let me get this camera down here, and let me get this right here, and a little bit like here, and a little bit like this, and a little bit like that. All right, so I took apart the... Oh, this thing's heavy. The bar that's inside the bar for the Profilux 4. So this is the... Wait, I can get to all the pieces. This will help. There you go. This is the power bar that GHL produces. Super clean board. Really good solders. That's pro level soldering. That's because I might know. And the relays are common brand, right? They are COTS relays that if you took this apart and you needed to replace a relay, you could absolutely, and I could teach you how, you could absolutely replace these relays if you needed to. So super easy design, totally maintainable, as I would expect from our German friends. This is the little board that controls both the communication and the LED notifications. And this is the... Oh, sorry for that. The business end with the switch. And this is the cap for the other end down here. So, totally clean. I'm pretty happy with it. So now I gotta put the two back together. Cool. I wanted to share this. I said I would. So there it is. That is the... What just happened? Oh, we got a new sub.
I performed a scheduled routine at 7 p.m. You can view or
Alexa,
change it in the routine.
shut it. Something happened. Oh, that's the first time I got a new sub while streaming. That's awesome. Thank you. Boom. All right, I'm done with this. Is that cool? I'm happy with it. Now I got to figure out how to put it back together. It had screws for days. Whatever. Super clean inside, so I was happy. All right. I'm going to talk real quick, and we've already talked about this a little bit. I'm going to talk about heaters. There are a couple of ways of doing this. I'm a fan of like 3 level of fail safe, but I'm going to show you 2. So if you're using a controller, or hell, even if you're not using a controller, get an Inkbird. What you should do, well, whatever. What I'm suggesting, because I'm not going to tell you what to do with your reef. What I'm suggesting is you get yourself an Inkbird. And you should get like 18 of these, like I have. And your heater is always controlled by this device, because this thing is cheap. It is the ITC 306T. This is good. What's up, Darth? Thanks, brother. I saw Def Leppard once, right before I went in the Air Force, which was a million years ago. So, and my neighbor across the street, like no lie, is friends with the drummer's wife. Like they've hung out. So, have this. and then plug your heater into this. And get the one with the plastic probe, because you don't have to worry about any kind of corrosion or whatever. And then have some sort of device that allows you to calibrate this. My preference is the dual purpose HANA salinity checker, because not only is it an awesome salinity checker, it's also a great thermometer and incredibly accurate. You can buy other NIST traceable thermometers, which means they're calibrated and they're accurate. Or you could just buy the HANA salinity checker and have a device that does salinity and temperature. They also offer a thermometer, but I like the salinity checker. So have that, calibrate this, because it doesn't matter if it's calibrated from the factory or not. I don't trust calibration unless I'm doing it myself. So calibrate this thing, because it will need it. And then check it occasionally, like every quarter. Give yourself a calendar reminder on your fancy phone, and go from there, right? So make sure this is always accurate. My recent preferred heater is the Finex TH03005. This is an element only. This has no controller, because Finexes, if you have a Finex that has an analog or digital controller, it's intended to be installed horizontally. Whatever. I install all my heaters, well, except for one, like this, vertically. And if the Finex heater is installed vertically, then it doesn't read the temperature correctly. This is the preferred installation orientation. However, this is the way I do it, so I always buy the ones without the controller. Lately, that's what I've been doing. And I plug that thing into my Inkbird. Now this, I feel safe, because I have a decent heater controller and a really good heater. However, that's not good enough. What I do next is I plug that Inkbird into my GHL powerbar, or my fake Hydros powerbar from Amazon. And then this, in conjunction with the controller, the Profilux 4 or the Hydros or the eCoral or the Apex or any of the ones that are downstairs, that range on that controller is wider. So the Inkbird is like 1 degree Fahrenheit, and then I set the controller's temperature a little bit wider, half a degree higher and half a degree lower. That way, if this controller gets out of whack, then the controller's power bar will take over and be the fail-safe for this thing. Cool? Now, if your heater has a controller, that's third level. This is the only heater I use. Finex is the only brand I'll use, because it ain't done me wrong much the same way GHL has not done me wrong. But I'm sure there are other good brands, but this is the one I trust. This is the one I use. This is the only one I'll use. A couple of my heaters do have the controller, but I got to battle that whole vertical versus horizontal mount thing, so this is easier for me. Then, like I said, I plug this into the controller, whatever that controller is, and I'm good to go. I'm protected. I don't have to worry about the heater. I don't have to worry about hot, too cold, whatever. This thing has alarms, beeps. It'll wake you up in the middle of the night. This is a good device. Trust this thing. But have a second level, like the power bar in your controller, because some of these controllers are getting to the point where they're so damn cheap, anybody can do this. That's what I do. That's that recommendation. Let me catch up. More Inkbird love. Bert, what'd you say? Skimmer overflowed on a new tank after a water change. Microbacter 7 miraculously ran downhill and burnt 7 outlets today. Whoo! Bert, what kind of outlets? Because we could talk. We could probably, maybe I can help you out. Unless it's just a regular old power bar, then you're on your own. I don't do overflows. I don't like overflows. Bert, you're like Moki. I think Moki actually finally did his. I think he finally hooked his up. I'm not sure, because I think he's got 3 heaters in that tank. I don't know. I don't know how many heaters he's got on the Inkbird. Yep. There you go, Carlos and the Fenix. I trust that heater. A lot of people jumped over to the BRS heaters as soon as they were released. There's no time on those heaters. That's a name brand heater in Europe. I just don't know anybody running them. I didn't have any time on those heaters, so I just stuck with what I know. How often do you replace the titanium heaters? Never. Only if they fail, and I haven't lost any Fenix yet. So I'm always running 2 heaters per tank because I have a primary and a backup heater just in case. The backup heater is on an alternate Inkbird. That's actually a good point. So thanks, Pirate. So I have my primary heater with an Inkbird on the controller, but then I also have a secondary heater in the back with a wider band on an individual Inkbird, and it only kicks in if I need it. Smelled smoke, and see, once the magic smoke is set free, that's it. You're done. Ooh, regular power bar. There you go. Moki. Yep, I finally hooked it up. 2 heaters, 500 watts on the Inkbird, 300 on its own. There you go. You're making me happy. Hey, Moki, can I come over tomorrow? Can I stand in front of your front door and bring you a mushroom and then pick up something maybe? Yeah. Bert, if Moki beat you to it, dude, you got to get to do it. Running a BRS Titanium, so far so good. Yeah. You can look those up and see what brand they are. And they have a good reputation in Europe. I just see no need to change. Thomas, you know what I'll recommend. Thanks, Smokey. Get the heaters that you can get. Get the heaters that you trust and get the heaters that are in stock. Don't chase heaters that aren't in stock because that just doesn't make any damn sense. And make sure you have 2 spares, especially for that big, beautiful tank. If you're going to have, Thomas, if you're going to have that thing going, make sure you have a couple spares hanging out. There you go, Finn. That's good stuff. I don't know. Shigo. I don't know that. Titan. I don't know that brand. Dual Fenix 800 watts. Damn, dude. You're no joke. You don't play, do you? All right, what's next? That's heaters. Already talked sharks. Oh, I really want to make this fly. It's light, too. I think I can. I'm going to talk this doser. I'm going to get this thing out of the way. First, it's crap. It's just as much crap as the one I threw away, and it's just as much crap as the DP4. However, oh, it's interesting because the instructions say push power. There's no power button on this doser. I guessed. I pushed and held escape and found it. And it uses the same software that the doser I threw out did. The red and white one from Jebao. It uses the same controls as this 2.4. So this is a DP4 with the Wi-Fi board. So it's a combination of both of those dosers. Totally crap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this in the garage with a jug of whatever, water, and just let it run for a year with a representative dose similar to what I'm dosing right now with 2 parts. And we're going to run those heads. And we're going to see when it starts siphoning, because I took a look at the rollers in there, and the rollers just aren't big enough to keep siphoning at bay. But this is something that people are interested in, and it absolutely is a budget option. But what I want to know is, when do the heads fail? By that, I mean what we talked about last week with the compression of the tubing. I want to know when that happens. Because if I can give you an idea of when it's time to, assuming this thing doses, because the other one I had stopped dosing, and that's why I threw it out. But if I can tell you when the tubing needs to be replaced or the heads need to be replaced, you buy those on eBay or something. I think Lynn was talking about that. Then you'll know how many spares you need to keep and how often you should proactively change these to mitigate siphoning. Is that cool? So I've already set this thing up. It is basically the same thing as a DP4. It has all the same LEDs that I don't remember what it was called, the red and white one. It's the same thing. So I'm gonna run it. This one I'll keep. The other one I get rid of. I pulled a douche move and I sent it back. This one I'll keep and I'll run it, and we'll see how it does. After whatever, I'll do a 6-month recap, and we'll see how well it held its calibration, and if the tubing's getting beat up, and then we'll do it in a year. So somebody remind me in a year to talk about the thing. Right? Okay. It's easy to set up. So it's actually not easy to set up. The software is kind of clunky, but you can figure it out. And the instructions are almost okay. By the way, I don't know what it means, automatic / handle to control the dosing liquid. I don't know what that means. This thing, wait, what'd I miss? Eheim Jaegers. German stuff I like. I'm gonna snipping tool snip. I know I could go back and look at this later, but I'm gonna just go ahead and grab a snip of that heater right now so I have it stashed, so I can look it up later when I'm done. Let me catch up. Yeah, Thomas. So the voodoo needs to go away so I can come over and take a look at that thing, and it appears as if the voodoo... Here, look, I've been talking about this with my family for quite some time. We are not halfway through this thing. So settle in, folks. I say mass availability of viable either monoclonal antibody or Vax, October 2021. There, I said it. Okay. Yeah, no glass heaters. Totally agree with you, Carlos. I lost a convict once, a long time ago, a million years ago, probably 20 years ago, to a glass heater, and I never went back because it hurt my heart that I killed that fish. 2 months on my calc. Scotty, so the fluid you're dosing, especially calc, shouldn't matter. It comes down really to roller size, and the rollers they're not pinching that tubing well enough. I don't expect that the calc would damage good tubing. I mean, I'm not talking like platinum cured silicone or something like that. I'm talking like regular old hobby grade tubing. What's tubing? That's farting. It should last longer than 2 months. Interesting. All right, Jim, I will be paying close attention because soon we'll get a doser. Gravity dripping calc all day. Oh, you're killing me, Bert. You're killing me with your gravity drip. Comor X1. Just get a Comor X1. Have some spare tubing or buy a spare head, but get a Comor X1. Jeremy Phillips. There you go. Jeremy Phillips says Eheim. I'm Phoenix. And we'll see each other in 10 years, and we'll see how we roll. All right. First, I took it out of the box. It's tiny. And it doesn't look. This thing is intended for people who have not had a controller before, or people who need a very simple to use blah 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 controller. No push notifications out of the Control2. It does have email notifications, and I'll talk about that in a second. No graphing of data. It's real-time only data. And it comes with, which I've not even used yet because I used the one from Amazon. It comes with the power bar. Well, I'll pull this up because it'll look totally familiar to you. If you have been, oh, it comes with a little mounting thingy that my Amazon one doesn't have. So this is the bar from Hydros, and this is the bar from Amazon. This thing is $25. It uses the same cheesy relays. It is identical, other than naming, other than branding. Oh, it's not. The cord is much fatter on this, but unnecessarily. What I did is I hooked up this Hydros to this bar, and it worked perfectly. So I don't have a problem with this. Setup was easy. Firmware updating was a little clunky. It told me it had an update. What up, Lynn? You want to arm wrestle over phones? Lynn and I were going back and forth tonight because she went Ford and Chevy on me with her phone. It happens. I was talking about firmware. Firmware updating is a little bit, you just got to be patient. You just got to let it update and let it roll and see how it goes. What this device would be awesome. First, I'm going to argue that people who are going to buy this thing don't need pH. You just don't need it. It's not something you need. If you want a small device for $250 and then you got to go buy yourself a pH probe, the Profilux Mini Wi-Fi will give you just about everything that you can get out of this thing and a pH port. So you go get yourself a dual junction BORS probe or something and you plug it into that thing, or you have a spare pH probe laying around. Done. You got temperature and pH. And you have a device that you could probably grow with a little bit. You can also do the same with this, but you're not going to get pH out of this device. In order to do that, you got to do a little adding, a little fiddling. You'd have to add the Control2, which is a chunk of money. These connections, that's a freaking novelty. That's marketing. You don't need to screw in. There's no need for this. Plus, it looks a little silly. What I would have enjoyed is maybe side plugs, 1/8-inch phono, 3.5 millimeter plugs instead of this, because this is unnecessary and industrial. So let me back up. Setup was easy. Setup of the heater was easy. Wi-Fi setup was easy. Firmware updating, a little clunky. Thank you, Mogi. That's very nice of you. It is an incredibly simple device that is lightly expandable. If you throw in on Control2, whatever that price is, then you get a little more. You'll get graphing. You'll get, I don't know how the notifications work. Maybe text. I don't know. But I know this thing sends out email. So what I do I have it? I think I have it. I can show you. I use pushover. So anytime you have a device that has email notifications and you want to convert them to push notifications, use pushover. It is an app available for both Neanderthal phones like Lynn's Android and iOS phones. Oh, that's a little, oh, look. Here, a little quality control. That shouldn't be happening like that, right? The little control. Oh, I can get to the screws and take it apart. What? That pushover app will provide you with an email address. And then if you use that email address, what I did is I created a rule for the Hydros to my normal email. And when that normal email hits my inbox, it then redirects out to the pushover email, and then that pops up on my super bougie iPhone 12 Pro Max. and I see that as a push notification. So anything you have that has email only notifications, take a look at pushover, because then that will give you push notifications, and it makes it super, super easy. This can go down here. I'm gonna catch up. Bert, you kill me. That's too nice of you. Thank you. It will help me pay for stuff. How do I get one of those fancy wrenches next to my logo? I found that on the internet. I would like to point out that stay at home is still up there, and that may be a thing, and you may want to pay attention. I was just saying, because things are getting crazy. We, Maryland, had the worst day ever today. Super interesting. I can send you... Oh, Savage Reaver sending me the European money. Thank you, sir. And Lynn, thank you so much. That's nice of you. I shall acknowledge Android is better for you. Is that fair? Who's buying more tanks? Who's buying more tanks? I'm gonna skip. I missed a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it can add. It's a lot like Apex versus GHL, or Reef Bright versus nobody, and Orphic versus AliExpress, and all of that business. I see you got to beat Lynn. That's awesome. Thanks, Bert. That's awesome. So look, if you have a need, I'm going to turn this off. Push over, push notifications, email to push notifications, totally works. Thank you very much. If you totally have a need for a small controller that can give you temperature, real-time data, and pH, you buy the GHL Mini Wi-Fi for $50 more than this. Now, with the GHL, you don't have the option of going to Amazon and buying $25 power bars with some USBs. But whatever. Am I gonna use this? I'm not sure I'm gonna use this. What I'm gonna do is to give this to Juan. I'm gonna give this to DMV Reefer, and he's gonna run this on his tank for a little while. My mother says y'all are being nice to me, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna give this to DMV Reefer, right? I bought this. This is $200. I think. Yeah, this is $200. And then I also bought the water level sensor. Actually, I haven't opened that. Let's open that and take a look, because I bet it's pretty simple. What happened to my knife? Son of a biscuit. Ain't nothing to it. All wrapped up. Optical water level sensor plugs into the other available sense port. So we'll have temperature. Well, DMV Reefer will have temperature, and he will have water level. I don't know that he's going to be able to do anything other than, oh, hey, my water's getting a little low. I would use this in my calc container when I get this back from him in like a year. I would use this on my calc to give me a warning that maybe my calc needs to be refilled. Or maybe even my ATO, because I don't have any optical sensors on there. I should get some from GHL and put them on there, because it works really well. Interesting little device. What did I share? I shared that, let me look real quick. I don't think I can see stories. Can I see stories? I can't. I already talked about notifications, and I talked about graphs. I think that was the only stuff that maybe this thing didn't show. Also something, this thing has an audible and optical alarm. So if your temperature gets out of whack, the same way with the GHL, this thing starts beeping and blinking. If you have an Apex EL, it just sort of looks there like a dumb looking design piece with no lights and no nothing. So you don't even know it's, I don't think you know if it's an alarm. I don't know if you know. Mine works half the time anyway, so I have no idea. I'm blowing through this really fast. Let me catch up. What's over here? DMV, the other DC reefer. What you looking for? Are you looking for stuff? Let me know. I can't act. That's very kind. Thank you. Savage. Thank you. Freaking UKers. DMV reefer gets all the nice toys. We were talking about it, and I was like, hey, you want to try this? And he's like, yeah, I'll try this. Because I really don't have... I wanted to play with it, right? I just wanted to know what was up with this thing. I wish they put the ports on the side. I'm just saying. But I think this is a viable option for people. If I was you and I was spending my money, I'd buy that GHL Mini because I think you're going to get more out of it. And it has a wire that plugs in to the power bar. Which reminds me, Wi-Fi power bars. This is a Wi-Fi power bar. There's no physical connection between this and the hydros. It is critical that you're running an Inkbird on this thing if you're going to control a heater on this power bar. Because if you lose Wi-Fi, you lose connection, you lose whatever, your heater's going to be uncontrolled. And I've been there with the eCoral. Where was I? My kid was getting his tonsils out or something, and I'm in the hospital, and I get a high temperature alarm because my heater's stuck on because my stupid Wi-Fi power bar stopped listening to the eCoral Pro. So I had to manually go in there and turn things off. And really what I ended up doing was putting one of those cheap Wi-Fi power switches to plug that into the eCoral's power supply. So that when the eCoral goes stupid, I go into my super cheesy Wi-Fi power outlet app, cycle power to bring the eCoral back up online, and then it works. You shouldn't have to do that. Can I get some Glowforge time if you have any free cycles? I want to make some vanity trim rings for bulkheads. Yeah, absolutely. I can help you out, Thomas. That's cool. I'm telling you. Thomas, I see what you're working with. I see your gear. Go get you a Glowforge, son. Go get it. You can do it. It's good. I'll give you my... I think I have a thing. I think I have a link. I think I have an affiliate link, and I can give you $1 off or something. I don't know. Oh, you're too nice, Mom. Interesting. Back and forth on Wamas. All right. I think that's it. Oh, look, a bedtime reminder because I'm so old. Somebody messaged me about this thing, and they got one, which makes me super happy that somebody is out there digging through some of the stuff that I've posted, shared, and they went and they got themselves a spectrometer so they can check lights as well. I think that's pretty cool. That's kind of all I have. I wouldn't waste my money on that. They got lazy when they designed that thing. What you talking about, Savage? You talking about this thing? I think there needs to be options, right? In the absence of reef keepers and stuff like that, there has to be a low-end controller for people who want to get their feet wet in the controller space. Now, like I said, if it's my money, Oh, what did I see? What did I see? Oh, I played with some things. If it's my money, I'm buying the GHL just because it was my money there. And I like that thing. And it's been running this little Pico tank just fine. And that's been working out. This thing. So there's been some whatever. We don't really know. Because it's a new device, people are concerned or people are worried or people are whatever. So say you lose power. When power comes back on, power is available to this thing, but it doesn't necessarily turn on. And that's okay, because as soon as the hydros powers up and regains connection to this thing, it does fire your heater back up. So what I did is I had the heater plugged into this thing down on the work tank, and I unplugged the power bar. Not this one. This one. And then I plugged it back in, and it sat there for a minute. And as soon as the connection regained, this thing powered up outlet number 1, which was the heater. So power outage without UPS, what I would suggest you do is you would, oh, it's way down there and I can't grab it anymore. I would put the UPS, I would put the hydros on a UPS, because that thing's not going to draw any power at all. That's actually one of the benefits, I suppose, of the Wi-Fi configuration. You put this little guy, actually I could probably test that. You put this little guy on a UPS and it's going to run for quite some time. And if you have this and your Wi-Fi access point on a UPS, then as soon as this power bar wakes back up after a power outage, everything's going to regain control and everything will be just fine. Does that make sense? Put this and your Wi-Fi access point on a UPS, and like 90%, 95, I'm making those numbers up, of your problems will absolutely go away. Wi-Fi power bars are not a concern. If you see people freaking out, that's because they're freaking out because they're wearing orange shirts. Wi-Fi power bars are not a problem as long as you take the proper steps to mitigate the potential risks of running these things. UPS and an Inkbird. Yes, you're adding more equipment, but whatever. If you're going to spend whatever you're going to spend on a Coral, at least spend half of that money, unless you're buying from me and Lynn, on a UPS and a Inkbird to keep everything safe. That makes sense? I wish they didn't do this. I wish this was like, this kind of sucks. Right? I mean, that's whatever. That's kind of shitty. Whatever. It works. I'm cool with it. If you don't have a controller and you want to know what your tank's doing while you're on vacation, buy the GHL Mini Wi-Fi. If you don't want to do that, this is an option. Just saying. I'm hooking up my Control2 with the Alcatronic. First impressions, I messed up. You know what? I was going to, Moki, if you're still on here, I was going to hit you up and get your Alcatronic creds. Because the Control2 can see the Alcatronic. So what I was going to do is just hook it up to Moki's Alcatronic, because I don't have one of those fancy thingies. And see what I can see. See what the UI for the Control2 shows. I think that'd be pretty sweet. Dan, what do you mean? You messed up by buying the Control4? Oh. It offers nothing more to the market. Yeah, you're right. Savage, you're right. The Control2 and probably the Control4 doesn't give you anything revolutionary or evolutionary for that matter. It's just another avenue for control. You know what I would buy. But that's how I roll. Do you have a UPS big enough for my 48 port switch and my Unified Dream Machine Pro? You're going to make me Google, you jerk. Thomas, I'm going to venture to say first, yeah, I do. Dream Machine Pro. What the hell is this? Thomas, yes, I do. Please, son. Come on. Of course I do. It's sitting in my driveway, bruh. That power bar sounds so cheap. Is it 3D printed? It is not 3D printed. It is plastic. And don't be hating on 3D printing. What the hell? What you doing? Don't be doing that, savage. No, this ain't... Wait. I can do a comparison. Same. Look. Much the same way I buy big phones, and much the same way that people buy big trucks. CoralView got himself a really big power cord that they didn't need, because I can just about guarantee it's the same guts inside. So they got him a big old fat power cord for nothing. When a little skinny one will work just fine. Sometimes small is all you need. Just saying. What you need all that for? My price is always 2 times what Jim charges. What's your next coral you want, Jim? What's the next coral I want? I want to go to... Moki said Lynn was super cool and cut me something, but he hasn't told me what yet. And I can guess, but that would be the next coral that I want. You know what I want to do, Bert? I think my next endeavor is to clean up the frag tank, because with the inclusion of the Springer's damsels and the 6-line wrasse, the acropora eating flatworms are vomitos. They're gone. No longer a thing. Coral that are living inside of that frag tank are looking really good, and I don't have that problem anymore. So for all of you who are super concerned about acropora eating flatworms, 6-line wrasse, Springer damsels, and cross them if you got them. I did dose, and I continue to dose wormwood tea, which is supposed to be similar to a retail product. Is it flatworm exit? It's not flatworm exit. It's I don't know. KZ's flatworm bee gone juice, whatever that is. Yeah, I trust those fish. I think the fish did the job. And they're still in there, and they're cool fish, and they hang on the tank. And whatever they hunt, and I watch them swimming around and taking a look at the corals and doing all that business. So, Lynn's price is 2 times what I charge. It kind of depends on, well, yeah, maybe. But Lynn's corals are twice as nicer. Maybe. Dan, you don't think it was a wise purchase? Yeah, but if you can't be with the one you love, you gotta love the one you're with, right? That's how I see controllers. I mean, use what you got. You gotta play with the cards you're dealt, right? I say that occasionally. I think I think you can find your way with it. I would love to see what CoralView is going to do in the future to make this device maybe a little more, I don't know, it's all potential robustness, right? This is unproven. None of us have used this thing for a year. We don't know what it's going to look like when we get to that end of that 365. So just run it and see what's up. So far, I don't have any beef with the Control2, other than the vagueness of the information, right? They don't necessarily share that you're not going to get graphing with the Control2. That's only a Control 4 item. I don't know if you get text notifications with the Control 4, but all you get is email notifications with the Control 2, which is fine because you can push those over to pushover, and boom, you got push notifications. So give it some time, dude. Give it some time and see. You might warm up to it, and as the software, right, as it evolves, as it matures, maybe it'll give you what you need. How's that Alcatronic working for you? Moki likes his. I think it's been doing good. Jake Sanchez, GHL Mini over Control2 or 4. GHL Mini over the Control2 all day long. GHL Profilux 4 over the Hydros all day long. You don't need to get the Mega set. You can get the P4 like starter kit, whatever that's called. The price difference isn't that much. I would totally go Profilux 4 over Hydros 4. But that's a personal preference thing. Ultimately, I don't know. I have the luxury of being able to use all of these things. So I've got the Mini, I've got the P4, I've got a couple, 3 Apexes, a Reef Keeper, and the E-Coral Pro. So, I mean, I have the luxury of being able to, like, and thank you for that E-Coral Pro monkey. I have the luxury of being able to personally use all these devices, so I absolutely have my preference. This isn't a bad device. I would, if it's my money, I'm doing something different, but it's still not a bad device. So if you've done it, stick with it and see how it goes. I'm gonna get one of them 6-line bastards for the new tank, but he will be last. That's true. Bert, do that. Get yourself a wee little baby 6-line, quarantine hell out of the thing. Throw it in there last, and it won't be a jerk. You'll be okay. And 6-line in almost all my tanks. See, and if you go to fish stores, if you go to Fantastic, you go to these places that are around here, they all have Melanaris or 6-line hanging out in their tanks. 6-line is an absolutely essential fish, much the same way I feel that if your tank is big enough or small enough, and you don't talk about it, a tang in a tank, an herbivore of some sort to take care of the algae that's in your tank. I think it's an essential fish. Anytime you get bugs in your damn tank, they're so, especially acropore eating flowers. Oh my God, I hate this case. I can't wait for the black one to show up, but this is the only one they had of this kind, and I love these cases. But anyway, anytime you get bugs in your tank, you can't get rid of them because you can do everything that you think you're going to do, and it's just not going to work until you throw a 6-line in there and boom, they're all gone. Of course, all your Bergias are gone too, but they're gone. So, coral band butterfly, copper band butterfly for Aptasia all day long. That's an awesome fish. You teach it how to eat. You can keep it alive with blackworms and mysis. That's awesome. But that thing will hunt down Aptasia like nobody's business. Copper band butterfly for Aptasia. 6-line for acropore eating flatworms. And you just don't have a problem. I have 2 6-lines. One in each tank in the basement. Totally not jerks. If I add a new fish to the display, 6 lines of jerk, it's going to kill it. But the fish that are already in there, it doesn't care, and it's totally cool with them, and it treats them nice. The moral of the story is if you want quality, go with a GHL or regret your life choices forever. That's a stern statement. Savage Reefer. I don't necessarily disagree with it. If you want reliability and maintainability, which I'm big about, then go with GHL. If you want something other than that, go with somebody else. 2 Aquatronica control systems, and they are bulletproof. More functional than fancy. Ran them more than 10 years. See, that's some good. See, everybody has their experience. Have you tried a reef pie? If somebody wants to send me a reef pie, I wish I had time. Actually, it's down here somewhere. There's a little mini pie down here for the 3D printer. That's the closest I've gotten to a reef pie. I have not tried one. You know, you will be a microscopic organism. What do you mean, Bert? Semper Fi gave me a small 6-line with a fat belly. See, I'm going to hook up Semper Fi once he stops making beautiful tank build pictures and actually puts water in that thing and gets it cycled. I'm going to give him a couple of big fat bellied tangs, and I will both feel better about myself, and he will provide my tangs with a nice forever tank. What up, Jake? Hey, Jake, are you number 2 on the list? I think you're number 2. Because I got LBC, gets a Disney. I think Jake gets a Cherry Bomb. I think you're number 2. Yeah, Jake Sanchez, I think you're good. Take a look at the Profilux. I think you'll be okay. Research studies show this peppermint shrimp will also eat the eggs. Yep, peppermint shrimp will. And I did have them in my display, but something killed them. I used both of my QT with dipping as well. Just know the life cycle. 30 days, right? Something like that. Yeah, you have to have, I don't know. Agreed. Mark, good information. Always dip, and I did. And I still got them. Peppermint shrimp died. Something ate them. Maybe the 6-line killed them. I don't know what killed them, but something did. And then, yeah. I have a 6-line. I think it all starts with there. Dip and 6-line. Coral band butterfly. Sorry, Bert. I've had too much to drink. 6-lines are jerks. They beat up all my other wrasses till they all got bigger. Interesting. I always add that 6-line last, Carlos, and I have not had that problem. If I add a fish, like I said, if I add a fish after the 6-line, like if I put a fish in the display right now, a small one, the 6-line is not going to be happy. And there's going to be some butt kicking going on. Jake Birch is going with a Apex and a Trident. Pay attention to the pump maintenance on that Trident. That's all I got to say there. Spygen. You're going to make me look. I think so, because I had a black one on my iPhone 7 Plus, because it would charge in the car. When you set it in a little thingy, it would charge in there. Scrolling. Yeah, the Spygen Ultra Hybrid. This is the only one, because I got this phone, I got this phone yesterday. And I wanted to have a case, because I'm a case guy. And the only one they had was the stupid red one. And I have the black one on order, but it's not going to be available for a little bit. But I really like these cases. It's treated me well. The number one rule when you have a phone that has a glass screen, like all of them do, is when you drop it, kick that sumbitch. Give it to boot. Because you would rather have that sliding force than the smacking force. Always kick your phone. Don't boot it. Don't punt the thing. Just give it a little tap to get it to slide. It takes away the slam force and gives it a little sliding. Trust me. Always kick your phone. Don't punt it. Kicked it. GHL is so expensive with Profilux. Case try. So, I mean, yeah, I know. Hyundais were cheaper too. It's up to you. Now that the tips are shipping, you're going to start shipping. Lynn. I want to get the box. I just want to make sure that anything I ship is going to live, right? It pissed me off. You have no idea how hard I worked to get that Disney out of the hole that I dropped it in. I didn't get it out. But I had the borescope jammed down in there, trying to figure out where it was, trying to get the tweezers on it. I just couldn't grab the thing. I just want to make sure that anything I ship, right? If people are going to pay me very little money for my corals and then a lot of money for shipping, because I'm just going to charge them actual shipping plus my super cheap price for corals. I want them to get something that's going to work. So I just want to make sure. And I saw your tips. You posted a lot of stuff from Graham. Graham has beautiful corals. So anything he posts on WAMAS that explains how to ship things, I think that's the reason why I'm going to pay attention to that. But I just want to make sure that when I do start shipping, it goes. How can I get on the coral list? Cross, you just got to watch Tyrannosaurus frags. If you search for that, you'll see my other account, and that's where I'll start talking about shipping. You'll also see it on my main account on Instagram. Yeah, if you go all in on a GHL, it's a metric ass ton, because you know it is in Europe, of money. If you go all in on an Apex, it's going to be a lot of money also. I think where you save money with the GHL is in long-term maintenance. You will lose money with the Apex, especially with the Trident, because if that thing has to go back every 18 months to get refreshed or pump replaced or whatever, then, you know, I mean, you could not do that and hope for the best, but it's going to have to go. I can go collect peppermint shrimp. The joy of... Oh, you're lucky, Mark. That's cool. That'd be super cool. Later, Savage. Profilux, KH Director, Ion Director. Yeah. If you went that route, you it's going to be that. I got just the Profilux 4 and 2 of the 2.1 dosers. That's what's downstairs right now. Bert has the miniature mini midget Disney. So that is the same as that is the opposite. Bert, is that the opposite of the fat cord? That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing you're comfortable and you don't need to overcompensate. All my RASs were added a year before the 6th line. He was chasing them. Oh, that sucks. There's 2 different size 6 lines. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Because I think there's a little mini one that doesn't get big. And then there's the big ass 6 line. I'm not sure. I know the 6 line that I've had for a year or 3, maybe even longer than that, maybe 5 years, in the display is a small one. It hasn't gotten big. And the Melanaris I have in the work tank, that is a substantially bigger fish. And then the 6 line in the frag tank, that thing's small. All right, I rambled. I think I've covered everything. Again, get an ink bird. Get an ink bird. Get an ink bird. I'm looking forward to a long-term test with this Hydros. I think it's an interesting device. I think it's a market impacting device. I don't necessarily think that this is the device that we will all end up with, but I believe it is the device that could potentially change pricing within the market. And we need a little competition in this space. And I think that's where the values of the Hydros resides. But if you need a super simple device, it's not a bad option. Again, if it's my money, it's a GHL Mini. Because you're going to get more out of that thing. What is this? Magnetic mount temperature sensor. That's fancy. Solenoids. There's a whole bunch of devices on the back of this box that you are never going to buy. Because you're just not going to use them if you're buying the Control2. You're just not going to do that. It's all this fancy, but you can't run them on this thing. So, you know, it has 2 sense ports. Thermometer and water level and all this other stuff you're not going to be able to do anything with. So, something to keep in mind. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to buy, you got a couple options. If you do buy this and you want to use this for like ATO or something, don't buy the ATO kit that comes with this stupid little micro pump right here. You're going to find that the lift on this pump is ridiculously horrible, and you're not going to want to spend that extra money. What I would suggest you do is you get the optical sensor, then you get yourself a decent pump with some lift, like the, maybe you can do it with the Apex PMUP. That thing has crazy lift. Neptune PMUP. That's not a bad pump. I've been using those for a way long time. Later, Mogi. Did a hack, a video on taking the Triton apart. Really eye-opening. So I saw that, and he didn't. So Scotty, correct me if I'm wrong, please. He did take the Triton apart, and he cleaned the little vial thingy where the liquids are mixed, but he didn't do any pump maintenance. So you can do your tubing maintenance all day long. You can clean things out, but I haven't yet seen a video where pump maintenance is performed. It's got 6 things in there. One of them is peristaltic, and 5 of them are something I don't know what they are. I haven't seen anybody perform that level maintenance on that thing. By the way, if the Trident is on an 18-month maintenance cycle, all of that's right now in November. 18 months ago, that thing was released, right? So you're all hitting that 18-month. If you early adopted, if you're able to get one of the early release ones, 18 months is right now. So from now and from 1 year from now, we're all going to be hearing about the maintenance of a Triton long term. Up until now, we really haven't heard it. That's why I like the GHL 2.1 doser. The doser is what they use for the cage, to what GHL uses for the cage and ion directors. And the pump heads are maintainable. It's right there. It's right out in the open. There's nothing that you got to worry about. So you can just do that maintenance yourself, where you can't necessarily do that with the Trident. Later, Bert. 2 years and it's smaller than the yellow chorus rest, a blue star maybe 2.5 inches, smaller than the rest. Really. So he's a little guy. Interesting. All right, y'all. 8:45 my time. I think I'm going to bail. I think we talked about everything we wanted to talk about. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram. Throw them in here for the next 2 minutes while I ramble on about stuff. Like I said, I'm looking forward to long term in this Control2 with DMV Reefer, letting him check it out. Other DC Reefer, hit me up if you want some goodies. I can take care of you. I can throw some SPS your way. Let me know. I also have some mushrooms and stuff. Moki, I'm going to bring you over a mushroom if I can get that thing out in the morning. And Lynn, I'm going to see what you... Later, Braveheart. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks always for being first. Check out Reef Girl live chat after. Oh, yeah. She's always on. I'll have to jump over there. Yeah. I think we're good. Cool. All right, y'all. I'll take the middle finger as well as the thumbs up. Either way, I'm happy to take it. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you found a little bit of cool information. If you want to talk laser projects, let me know. If you want to talk needing a haircut, let me know. If you want to talk about controllers, let me know. But other than that, I think I'm good. Y'all good? I hope you're good. All right. Now, let me look. Germany. Oh, later, Finn. You need a Monty and Acro pack. Did you answer my question up there, Jake? All right, y'all. Thank you very much. As always, thank you for hanging out. I'm hoping you got something out of this. As long as you can walk away with one thing, like Telegram's stupid, that's cool too. That'll make me happy. And happy reefing, and be kind, everyone. Thank you.